Alrighty, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everyone is doing well. First off, got to make one quick announcement. It's back again. The Native Watercraft No Limit Big Bass Power Hour. It's been a series going on for a few years now, and they're going on to do it again in 2025. And like always, they're kicking it off in California at Clear Lake, March 31st. It's a Sunday, their first tournament of 2025. Guys, this is a really fun event. You don't need to be an experienced tournament angler to participate. You can be a novice. It's a great way to dip into the tournament scene, try it out. Really cool format. It's very different than all the other tournaments around here. 8 hours out on Clear Lake, 1 day tournament, and every hour, the biggest fish caught during every hour will win $1,000. Overall big fish will win a brand new native kayak. And then the no limit component, the most or longest cumulative inches throughout the day, will also win a brand new kayak. So guys, if you're not signed up and you're in the area and you're thinking about it, I'd highly recommend coming on out. Clear Lake has been fishing fantastic this year. It's definitely shown what's living under the water there. So this one will be a lot of fun. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to sign up. Obviously, I'm participating, so hope to see you guys there. But here we are, back at the California Delta. Just rigged up the kayak for today, which probably looks a little different color. New kayak, but same model as the previous year. The Titan X 10.5. We got it in gator green. One of you guys commented, going back to like my roots. That's true, because that was the original, the first kayak I ever had. Not that model, but little lime green kayak. So it's like been 12 years since I got a green kayak, and I gotta say, it looks sharp. I like the coloration to it. Definitely different than what I usually have. But as you guys may have seen in the last video, made a trip up to Kayak City, picked up a couple of kayaks, one of which being this guy. The other one we did in the last video, the whole rigging, the fishing. But this guy, I finished up rigging the other night. And like I keep mentioning, the purpose of all these kayaks, the multiple kayaks, is to have different size kayaks for the appropriate situation or body of water. Last video, I took out the Slayer Propel 10 LTE, small body of water, minimal gear, easy to paddle around. Still a lot of the key features, but in a very tiny package. Going to the other side of the spectrum, which you saw earlier this year, the Titan X 12.5, which is so big, so loaded that I have to use a trailer now to optimally get that to and from the water. But that's okay, because that's the kayak that we completely beef out with electronics, multiple batteries, huge tackle trunk, gear, rods, the works. So that's the opposite side of the spectrum. And now this guy, the Titan X 10.5, is right in between. Right in between. I think it's a really good, just mid-size fishing kayak. Something you don't need a trailer for. Of course, I do have it on the dynamic dolly, but just really because I parked so far away so we could do this video, and I can give you a little tour of it in a minute. So yeah, don't need a trailer for it. Totally able to just put some wheels on it and wheel it to and from the ramp, but still has some of those big boat, big kayak features. Figure before we get out on the water on the Delta, which is looking, well, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But before we get out on the water, I want to give you guys a quick run through of the boat. Again, this is not a kayak DIY rigging channel. I mean, I'll throw in some tips and tricks here and there, but I do want to give you a quick run through of what I did, the build process, some of the features. And I will say, after these two kayaks, building them out all weekend, don't hold me to it, but I probably won't be getting any more kayaks and doing any more rigging anytime soon. So I'm gonna take you guys, let's get out there, show you guys the Titan X 10.5. Gator green. Do you guys name your kayaks? I know some people name their boats, some people name their kayaks. Do you guys name your kayaks? I haven't named my kayak in a while. My first one was named after my mom, and I know my mom watches these videos, and I'm calling her out right now, but she did buy it for me too. That was the Amazon kayak. Prime deliveries. But I don't think I've named a kayak since. So here we go. Let's just start at the front. Like I said, got it on the dolly right now, but I mean, this thing is so lightweight, easily could wheel this down to the ramp. Front hatch. Front hatch is pretty much the same as we had the other one. I did decide to do this again. I actually took the handle off and I put a little track mount instead, just use the same bolts. So my Humminbird, one of my Humminbirds from my 12.5, which has these little twist knobs that slide into the captain's bridge, I just take it off the captain's bridge, slide it off, slide it into these gear tracks, and now I got a graph for this boat. So easy peasy there. I did decide to utilize the power link plate on the front hatch to have my wiring go up through the back to the graph, so it's nice and clean in the front. Nothing crazy inside the hatch. I've got the Bioino 12 volt 30 amp hour battery in there, power in the graph. Got a front hatch for probably my camera bag and stuff. I'd still have some extra room in there if I need it. One thing I did do, and I'm doing this to all my boats now, is putting a keel guard on there. Just gives it a little extra protection when you're bumping it into the ramp or dragging it around. So keel guard is a must, I think, for a lot of kayaks, or all kayaks really. Of course, we got the pedal drive. Here's the thing that I'm really excited about, and it worked perfect for my last build, the Propel LTE. The Wizard foot controlled steering. Very, very user-friendly, easy install, especially on Titans and really all native boats, all bona fide boats. Also, by the way, I do mention this like on screen in text, but I'll call it out right now. If you guys want any of these accessories or most of these accessories, I do have a link in the description that I think if you just click through, you'll get like a 10% discount, but there is a code as well. So kayak accessories, stuff like that, you can use that link and save some money. So we got the Wizard foot controlled steering. Just put a little terminal box right here. Decided to put the tool caddy on the side of the seat. Nice and easy. Tell you what, we're gonna go around to the other side. I've got a double header to hold our paddle. Got our throttle right there for the NK300. The whole pulley system so I can pull it up if I need to. Stuff like that. I use this power link plate to have the throttle cable actually go through the boat. So all of our cables for this boat are completely clean. You can see on the other side, we utilize this other one for powering our batteries, and I only have one battery powering the NK300 right now. It's actually living in the hatch right here, which is a really nice feature of the new Titan boats, is they've actually added a dedicated center hatch inside the boat for your batteries. A lot of people, and I used to do this, is put your batteries, you know, your big batteries powering your motors, your rafts, like on the back of your boat or in your black pack, and that's fine. But as far as like weight distribution and like the center of gravity of making your kayak very balanced, this is a great spot to put a heavy battery. I've just got one in there. It's a Bioino 3630, and if I want to, I can add another one and put it under the seat. But I think for right now, I'm just going to use the one battery to power the motor, and then the switch on the other side, that's our little toggle to switch between battery 1 and battery 2. In the back, we've got the sidekick wheels, so this is just the crossbar for it. If I want to, and probably what I'll do more often than not when taking this boat out, is I won't use the dynamic dolly. I'll just bring the wheels with me and just wheel it to and from the water. I've got these little speed bags in front of it, just a good spot for these bags that hold plastics, extra tackle. We got a 13x16 black pack. This is the mid-size black pack. Got 6 rod holders on the back. Nothing crazy in here, really nothing at all. Water and some lunch and miscellaneous items. So still got a lot of real estate in there. And then the back right here, we got the NK300 foot controlled steering, of course, coming out through the back. Again, a very easy install. I am not the most mechanically inclined person as far as kayak rigging or things of that nature, but this kit definitely makes it easy to do, and it comes out clean, super smooth. So definitely a winner in my book with the Wizard foot controlled steering. But I think that's pretty much it. I've got my camera mount, which I've actually had since 2012. This guy right here, probably the oldest thing on my kayak. I just I haven't gotten rid of it. It works. Just add a Scotty locking mount to all my black packs or trunks that I take, and it fits right in. Holds the rear camera. Rudder control obviously right here. But I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, guys, that is the build. Titan X 10.5 Gator Green. Should I name it? I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you guys got any good names for this guy. And maybe, just maybe, I'll put the name in lettering on the side. Yeah, I'm gonna get this launched, get out on the Delta. It's a little breezy right now, a little chilly. We know the Delta. Any cast could be a giant. Anything could happen. So I guess we'll find out. We're on the water. I'm telling you guys, one of the best parts about foot controlled steering is you can just like go to your spot. You can of course fish hands-free steering the boat, but you can make the run to where you want to go and rig baits, look at your phone, eat lunch, do whatever you want. You don't always have to have your hand on the rudder control. So just get a few baits rigged up for the day. I don't know what is in store for us. Pretty dirty back here. Less than a foot of visibility. Water is 56.8. I bet you it'll get up to 57, 58. There is a sea lion up in the distance, so maybe there's some striper back here. Or perhaps he wiped out all the bass. One of the two. But only 6 rods with us today. I got a punch. Got 1 spinning rod. I'll be throwing around a weightless worm perhaps. Got a jig, which I'm going to actually put on a different color. Crankbait, bladed jig, and a tiny little glide. So yeah, only 6 rods, though I may beef it up to like 8 rods at some point. Use the gear tracks behind me to put a few more rod holders. Only brought 1 box with me today. Not much in there. Extra jigs, bladed jigs, a couple of frogs if I'm feeling frisky, jerk baits, crank baits, swim baits. Nothing too fancy, keeping her simple. But listen, I know that not everyone can have 3 kayaks just sitting in their garage and you're able to take out the one you want whenever you want. I understand that, but I will say if you're gonna pick one, I think this mid-size one overall is your best bet, because you can make it very small, very lightweight like I mentioned, and as I did last year, you can run 2 graphs, 2 batteries, the works, completely deck it out if you want. It's just a good canvas, so to speak, with how you want to build out your boat. Well, 10:39. I've been fishing for a little over an hour now. Not much to show for it. Not loving this conditions. Only 56-degree water temps. Cleaned up a bit, but it's still pretty dirty. Low tide. Not liking this low tide. And I don't think it's going to be anytime soon before that water rises to where I need it to be. The spot I've come to today has historically been good this time of year, but that's the thing with the Delta. Every year, every spot, just about, it seems like, can change. One year it'll hold fish, the next year not so much. Different times of year it might hold fish. So I don't know what to do. I'm just not feeling those fishy vibes. Not liking the grass, the way the grass looks. Things keep up this way, this could be one of those multi-day videos. When in doubt, wacky it out. Man, almost 12 o'clock. I hate to say this, but I feel like I've been out here enough times, meaning the Delta, to know when an area is most likely not going to produce. The way everything looks, the conditions, the tide. I think I'm wasting my time right now here. That said, let's head in to fish another day. Brutal. Alright guys, and just like that we're back out on the water. A few days later, 7:08 a.m. The sun is just coming up. It has been an interesting morning. A little bit of a you-know-what show. Started off by parking in kind of like an angled parking lot. Unstrapped my kayak, and I don't know if my bed at the truck was a little slippery. Been here plenty of times before. It's never happened, but today, kayak just slid right out the back, smashed into the ground. I kind of felt around. I didn't feel any cracks or anything, but if I start to feel heavy, I think I know what the issue is. So that was interesting. I don't know what happened here. Had power when I plugged it in this morning, setting up, and I just went to put my little camera bag in the front hatch, and graph has lost power. Checked all my cables, my connections. Think it's good. I charged the battery too, so I don't know what's up with that. I mean, good thing we're going to be fishing shallow all day, but yeah, hopefully we can at least catch a fish and officially slime this boat up. Rough start. Rough couple of trips so far. There we go. Got one. Looked weird. Alright, slimage. We got some slimage on the Gator Green kayak. Not a big one, but I'll take them. Thank you, sir. Didn't take long. Cold beer and food to go. Just over this way. If we're out here long enough, I might have to make a stop. There we go. Got one on the toolies. Big one. No, it's the wrong species. Man, what's up with me catching different species on the new kayaks? I mean, whatever. It's a fish. Oh, the fish was up shallow. Up in the toolies. Go. A little striper. Looks like a fresh one. One right from the ocean. Alright, 2 bites now. Yeah, because when we took out the Propel LTE, that was obviously our first trip out with that particular boat. We didn't go to the Delta, but we went to a small little body of water, and our first fish was a trout on a wacky General. Did catch a bass that day, but first trip, or well, first trip and a half, I guess you could say now, on the 10.5. We got a 10-inch bass and a striper. I'm not complaining. Better than the other day, actually getting some bites. I'll take bites all day, no matter what the species. Well, it's a little while later. I don't know if I did a cast montage right there to exemplify the very non-existent bite, but haven't had a bite since that striper. Fished a lot of the same stuff, or same looking stuff. It all looks good. I mean, I think the water temp is, well, it actually feels about 54, 55. It's not 60, I know that. Still pretty cold. This is more main river channel stuff though. Man, it all looks so good. Toolies, got a decent tide right now. It's a little higher. I think it's dropping, but still got enough water up on these toolies for these fish to get up there and munch around. So I don't know what the deal is. Gosh, the Delta is so weird. It's like mid-March, almost April, and fish are still in that funk. So it seems, at least for me. Small sample size, but I don't know, Delta fish are weird. To me, it's never just like a gradual, you know, if you go fishing every day of the month, it's not like the bite just picks up every little bit each day and it gradually gets better. More often than not, I feel like it's just a constant up and down and down and down and down, and then you might have like a super low, bad, terrible week of fishing, and then like literally the next day, boom, and the fish are just munching. It just turns on like a light switch. he's way up there. Dang. Finally got a fish. Finally got a bite. That could be a male up on a bed or something. Oh, geez, that took a while. But it ran on its head. I like that. I don't know if that's going to be a pattern or if that's just the deal of you make 1,000 casts, you're bound to land on one. I'll keep shallow flipping, even though I've been doing that quite a bit. Man, that was way up there. I know you guys can't tell, especially without a functioning graph. Tide's kind of low right now. That fish is probably in like, well, let's see. Less than a foot. Dude, I think something was taken off of that. I think. Certainly seemed like it. Line swam off. Am I putting on little beds maybe back there? Guess we'll find out. Oh, that's another one right there. That was another one right there. Guaranteed. Alright, they are up on this bank. At least some small ones. Shoot. Missed them. Missed them. Man, they are way up shallow. It's 2 bites. Doing the same thing in the same area. So I think we got a little pattern. I think. Sent him for a ride. Yeah, there's a bunch of males back here. Sorry, buddy. Jeez. Yeah, I bet you these fish are actually on bed, because it is taking like a little bit of a dangle to get them to bite, and they're not like swimming off with it. They're just kind of eating it in place. Little pattern though, that's good. Only problem is I don't think I'm going to be catching any big ones doing this. I really do actually think these are fish making beds. They may not be on beds, but I bet you they're males making beds, just based on how I'm getting bit right now and having to soak this bait way up shallow. Like if that fish was making a bed or on a bed, that's exactly the same way he would have bit. Just kind of fussing with it and probably sucking it in a couple times before I even felt him eat it. Okay, guys, we were off the water about 1 o'clock. A little shorter day, a little half day out on the Delta. But I'm happy to say we officially have slimed the Gator Green Titan X 10.5. Kind of a tough day. Actually started pretty good though. Got on a quick little crankbait fish, little undersized bass. Thought it was a good sign, a bite relatively quick in the day. Had a higher tide to work with, which I was hoping for, which is the reason I came out so early. I think a little while later, threw that crankbait out again, right by a little patch of tulies, got smoked. Felt like a big one. It was a big one technically, but it was the wrong species. It was the good old striper. So we got the multi-species slimage in the kayak, and honestly the rest of the day was pretty tough. I covered a lot of water. The water was dropping, which I wasn't in love with. Fishing that lower tide, I don't know, right now it's just not my thing. Don't have a lot of confidence in doing it on the Delta, and I knew that. I knew the tide table would say after about 10, 11 o'clock that the water would get pretty low. But yeah, I scrambled around. I fished a bunch of different things. We fished islands, we fished inside the islands, tule clumps, went into a marina, fished all the way back, way up under a bridge. The only other thing that we found today was a very shallow flipping bite. And when I say shallow, I mean less than a foot of water, maybe less than that, because it was right up on the bank and the water was still dropping. But just that little flipping setup that I've been working with lately, throwing it up there, I think the key was finding right depth and also having a clump of dead or broken over tules, kind of forming a mat and punching through that stuff. I think that was just a good canopy for some of those fish to position. And I do believe, I want to say that those fish I was catching, they were either on beds or making beds. They're little buck bass, little males in those typical areas that they will eventually spawn. And the way they were biting too kind kind of hinted as to what they may be doing, which I do believe was either making a bed or on a bed. So had a couple doing that. I missed a couple more as well, but at least there were bites. Again, not an epic day of fishing, but happy to get the boat officially slimed. And of course, more importantly, the last 2 trips being the first trips to break in the new build, the new Titan X 10.5. Solid. As I said, this is the same boat basically as what we had last year, just a lighter package, not as much stuff outfitted on the Kayak. Oh, and I will say a bonus thing was this morning, as I mentioned, I tested the durability of the Kayak for everyone. I felt it was a service I could provide, letting that Kayak slide out the back of the truck onto the ground. And man, I wish I had a camera rolling at some point during the morning when that came out of the truck, because it wasn't just like it slid out gingerly and just landed on the ground. It like slid out violently and smashed the ground, smashed the gravel, probably slid a solid 5 feet back on the pavement. But the boat still floats, did not take any water inside the hull, so I do not believe that there are any cracks or anything like that. And that's one of the good things about these Titans and a lot of native watercraft boats that are on the bigger side, the heavier side. Yes, they're bigger, they're heavier, but man, they're very durable. They're durable, they're stable, and apparently you can drop it out of the bed of your truck and it'll still be okay. Yeah guys, that is going to do it for today's video. The build, a couple days of fishing, the slimage. But as always guys, I thank you for watching, for coming along, and I will see you in the next one.